Alright guys, in this video I wanted to take a few minutes to update everybody on what Sony has to say about backwards compatibility. They did actually provide an official update on this because there seems to be some confusion going around. During the presentation by Mark Cenry, he referenced the top 100 most played PS4 titles and how they're running great through backwards compatibility, and they're basically boosted. And a lot of people were under the impression that these were the only titles that were going to be playable through backwards compatibility, or that there was only going to be certain select titles, and that the entire PS4 catalog was not going to be playable through backwards compatibility. So, let's read this update, and hopefully it clears everything up for anybody who was a little bit confused. It says, a quick update on backward compatibility. With all of the amazing games in PS4's catalog, we've devoted significant efforts to enable our fans to play their favorites on PS5. We believe that the overwhelming majority of the 4,000 plus PS4 titles will be playable on PS5. We are expecting backward compatible titles will run at a boosted frequency on PS5 so that they can benefit from higher or more stable frame rates and potentially higher resolutions. We are currently evaluating games on a title-by-title basis to spot any issues that need adjustment from the original software developers. In his presentation, Mark Cenry provided a snapshot into the top 100 most played PS4 titles, demonstrating how well our backward compatibility efforts are going. We have already tested hundreds of titles and are preparing to test thousands more as we move toward launch. We will provide updates on backward compatibility along with much more PS5 news in the months ahead. Stay tuned. So there you go. I think this was actually a really good thing that Sony did, because this is one area where they do not want to have any confusion, and essentially what they're trying to clear up is that the 100 titles that Mark Cenry referenced, he specifically wanted to highlight that the top 100 most played games, which are probably games that, many of us either have played or still do play, and thousands of people are probably playing right now, that they will work day one on the PlayStation 5, and that they're also emphasizing here that they have hundreds of other titles that they've tested, and they plan to test thousands more, and that by the time the PlayStation 5 launches, as they put it here, the overwhelming majority of these games will be playable on PS5, and that many of them will actually be boosted. They'll actually potentially have higher frame rates or higher resolutions. Granted, I wouldn't realistically expect every single title, because there's a lot of games on PS4. I wouldn't expect every single one to be there day one. However, I do think that the only reasons why there might not be games there day one are because maybe the developers have to work on it to make sure it can work properly, or, as they put here, they need to test it on a title-by-title basis. And I'm sure that they are going to run into games where they have to go to the developers and they have to say, look, we're having trouble with this. Can we work this out and get it running on the PS5 smoothly? And I'm sure that that's not going to be a problem. I'm just saying that there's a reason why they're not saying all PS4 titles day one. There will be some outliers. However, I do believe that pretty much any game that anybody's really going to care about playing will be there day one. That's what I'm anticipating. And so, this gives me a lot of confidence, and I'm just, again, really glad that Sony cleared this up, because people were already pretty let down at the fact that there was no reference or no talk about PS3 or PS2 or PS1 backwards compatibility. And I don't want to say that we won't hear about that at all, or that there's no chance. I just feel like that's not fair. There's still a lot that Sony could announce. There is the chance that they could be saving this announcement. However, I do want to say it's looking less and less likely, and the chances that Mark Cenry would have done this deep dive into the PlayStation 5's architecture during this presentation and not talk about it if it was a thing doesn't seem very likely. This would have been the time and place for him to talk about something like that and kind of brag about it and create a lot of excitement and, just talk about the technical aspect of how he was able to make it happen. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen, and while that may be a letdown for some people, I think for the overwhelming majority of people, they're looking forward to new games, and I think most people like myself are just really happy that we will have PS4 backwards compatibility. We'll have to see what they plan to do for PS3, PS2, and PS1 games. Maybe PlayStation Now will actually be their answer to that. But overall, I'm happy that they cleared this up, because this is the last thing that PlayStation needed right now, in my opinion, was for there to be confusion. I noticed that you're seeing a situation where the marketing isn't going as smoothly as maybe Sony had hoped it would for the PlayStation 5 so far. And then you have people that are just kind of, adding fuel to the fire by trying to run with certain narratives and making other people believe things that are just not true. Like, an example of this is a lot of people were trying to run with this and make it seem as though that only 100 games were going to be backwards compatible on the PS5, only the top 100 most played games, and that is in fact not true at all. So I'm glad they cleared it up, and at this point I'm going to ask you guys to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about this? Are you disappointed that it's just PS4 games, or are you okay with it? And are you still expecting that we're going to hear more about PS3, PS2, and PS1? Because as it says here at the end, is that they will provide updates on backward compatibility along with much more PS5 news in the months ahead. So let me know what you're thinking. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it or found it informative. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload. And feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.